My name's Rich, welcome back to Me, My Bike and I. This is just a little bit of a progress video on the Honda VF750 engine rebuild. Last episode I was in the middle of stripping down and cleaning up some of the side cases and they were still in a bit of a state, but I've made a little bit of progress since then, so I just thought I'd show you how far I've got and what I've still got left to do before we start putting this engine back together. You might have seen him in the background there. Last time this was still covered in a lot of paint, and what I thought was a good covering of powder coating still, but no, it was just a good paint from the factory that needed to be completely stripped off. So I've really gone to town on it with a set of wire brushes, and I seem to have got it really cleaned up very well. This stator cover was fine anyway, and these two rocker covers were still in a pretty poor state because they were still splattered with crusties and paint and all kinds, so they're looking pretty good now. I gave everything a really good brushing with a set of steel brushes and brass, and they've come up, I think, okay. I'm not going to polish the life out of them. I think haven't quite decided when I do get this engine put back together what it's all going to look like paint wise, so I just need to get everything cleaned up and then I can decide. I hadn't got any of the paint off of the sprocket cover apart from the loose rubbish that the paint stripper had removed. So I've left that for a few days, and we're going to start giving this a bit of a wire brush and see if we can get that completely cleaned up. Then I'm going to need to pull out these cylinder heads, and they're going to be quite awkward to do, but they need doing. It's very dark up this end, but you can see they're just still kind of, well, they've got some previous owner paint on them still, and that's probably covering the factory paint. And yeah, once I've done all these cases I'll get them down and we'll start stripping those next. Got the engine cases to do, so this is the upper case, and I'll flip that over in a second and show you what's the worst bit of these. Of course there's no dodgy paint on these because these are replacement cases, so I think it may just be a case of cleaning them and sort of keying them up ready for a paint. I'm just going to use some very high temperature rattle cans anyway. Just can't quite decide on colours and finishes of all of the different parts. The reason I've not finished this yet is because the paint on this seemed to be far better than on any of the other cases, so it sort of proved a little difficult to remove, but it see, it's coming off. You know what I might do? Is get out a new toy that I've got. Never had one of these before. Right, let's try a 240 grit little sanding disc. These are quick change, and I've kind of got all different little attachments for this, but yeah, and see how we go. I might need to step the grit up a little bit, but we'll try a 240 to start. That's the finest I've got anyway. Just making short work of that. just got to be careful in there. That's the detail that I don't want to destroy. Okay, well, I'm going to start getting into some of these little corners, and I'm going to switch out this for something that will hopefully go straight in, and so I shall borrow some of my my little Dremel brushes, see if they do any good. I'm thinking they might be too soft. Might need to swap out this collet actually, because I think that's probably too big. This did come with two collets, and one of them is much smaller than the other. So you see that one takes a 1/4 inch shank, like that. A bit too big. Whereas this one should do the job. Okay, let's see how these brushes fare. Probably not too good, to be fair, because well, it's just brass. We'll see. Okay, that has taken me about an hour, and it's brought it up just as good as all the other bits. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that right angled air sander, just using 2-inch discs. It's done the job just nicely, using a range of different bits to get into all the little corners. The actual face of this was really quick. I just needed to use some detail bits from Dremels and things like that to get into all of the little nooks and crannies, but it worked really well. So anyway, I am done with all these parts for now. You can see these are about as clean as I want to get them. So I'm going to get these packed away, and then we can start on these cases. Okay, and I've got a special way of cleaning all these up too. Let me just show you. So I've already mostly cleaned them. I just cut 3 little lengths of clutch cable. I think they're probably just regular old brake clutch cables off any old bike. It's just a kind of repair kit stuff. And let me just show you what we're going to do. So a little bit of suitably sized shrink wrap. Let it cool down, trim it up. And then when you've got one that's got a little bit of rust or muck in it, and in the case of these, they were all filled full of that horrid red paint, you can just stick it in the vise and come in here with your handy air tool. Or if you haven't got one of these, just a power screwdriver, Dremel, something like that. But the higher speed the better, and just get right into the corners of it. And take a look at the results. These were filled with that ghastly red paint that was all over the rocker covers, but they're all nice and clean inside now. So I've gone over all of these with the little tool I made for the hex sockets, and I've gone over the threads and the faces with the wire wheel, and they're all looking really, really nice. Ready to go back in, so I shall pack these away. I've put all the other cases away already. I've just wrapped them up in bubble wrap just to stop them getting dinged in any way. And just to be clear, the sprocket cover is the only one that I use the air tool on, and it's looking really, really good. The others I just hand brushed, so they still need a little bit of work, but like I said, don't know whether I'm going to polish them up or paint them up. So not trying to make it concourse, just trying to make it look nice. Anyway, let's get to work on these. I think we're going to start with the top case first. That's this one here. Let's flip it over and take a look at it. So let's flip this over and have a look at the top side. I'm looking at the exterior at the moment. Yeah, so it's looking pretty grotty. Obviously water jacket's going to be a little bit like that, isn't it? But you know, you can't really get in there. I've already had a go at cleaning up these surfaces, but yeah, I need to obviously go lightly on those because that is the cylinder head mating surfaces. So just need to be really careful. But with these, I think I'm going to get in there with me brushes and see what I can get off. But because these are the replacement cases, we haven't got all the paint issues, so I think just giving it a bit of a key, and then I can spray it all up nicely with some high temperature paint, and that should do the job. I think this one is the worst. Obviously when you've got a V engine, that is a bit of a collection point for water, so it's to be expected that you're going to get that. I think that looks like a mixture of sediment and paint flecked off to show the aluminium and aluminium oxide and all sorts. So anyway, let's start brushing this one up and cleaning it, and then we'll take a look at this one. I think this one's a lot better. With this one there's a bearing in there that I'll need to remove. That's on the other end of the transmission, and all those sorts of things are going to need to be replaced anyway. So yeah, anyway, let's get brushing and see where we end up. Okay, I think it's fair to say what was on there and in there is now all in there, so I'm going to need to change that out. Anyway, this is a long and laborious job, so I'm going to carry on cleaning up these two crankcases and get all the gasket material off, and then do a little bit more work off camera on those side covers and maybe the sump as well, because that didn't look particularly good. So, but it is a very lengthy process. I need to change that fluid out, so I'm going to crack on with that. In the next video I will have this all done, and then we can start looking at everything and decide what we need to put it all back together. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.